You are listening to KC Sports Network, proudly presented by Emprise Bank, your partner in possible.
Hello and welcome into another edition of Mizzou That's Who, your podcast for Missouri athletics here on KC Sports Network. As always, I'm joined by Gabe DeArmond and Maggie Johnson, but today we have a super special guest joining us today. It's the hero from Saturday's 68-66 win over UCF. It's DeAndre Gholson. DeAndre, how are you doing, man? And how have these past few days been for you, dude?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. Past few days been a lot, as you can expect. But just been trying to enjoy it with my teammates and my coaching staff, and just try to move on and think about the next game. Though, although it was a great moment, time to look forward and prepare for the next opponent.
Are you a guy after that game? Like, did you go watch the Twitter video and search your name and stuff, or did you try to just kind of get past it pretty quick?
I watched it a lot of times. It was circulating so much I couldn't get past it. So I just tried to embrace it, and have fun with my brothers on the team, and just enjoy it, for the time that we had.
Well, I just hope you saw the one where they put the Titanic music behind it, because that's always the best one.
I saw that one.
I watched it a lot too, so don't feel bad. I think I was sitting at my family Christmas this weekend, and I was just like, they were like, "What are you watching?" I'm like, "Oh, just watching Mizzou win, how they typically never win." So it was amazing. Yeah. Thank you for that. You gave all of us like a great Saturday.
Dre, when your teammates are all coming at you, what's it like being on the bottom of one of those piles? Because I got to think, if you're the guy at the bottom of that, you're like, you guys got to get off me. This is awful.
Yeah, it's not fun, especially when the guys are big and strong. It's not fun. But it was exciting. Those are guys I love. They embraced me and I embraced them. So that was the good part about it. But like I said, they were some big guys though, so it wasn't fun.
Well, Dre, I got a question, man, because coming off of that Kansas game, tough game, you go into this game kind of knowing you got a tough stretch ahead, knowing this UCF team is a tough basketball team as well. What was kind of your guys' mindset going into this game and really throughout the game?
We just wanted to show how resilient we are and how tough we are. We needed this one. The whole entire Mizzou, everyone that believes in us, we all needed it. So we knew coming to the game that we had to be focused, locked in, and play as hard as we could. And it showed for a while. We were up, 14-15 in the second half for the most part, and they fought back. They're a good team, so we have to give credit to them. But like I said, we needed this one bad. So for us to win and the way we won, it was big for us, and big for the entire community.
There was a cool moment right after you made the shot, and you look right over at Coach Gates. I watched it multiple times in the video. Is that something that, that he has that confidence in you to take that shot? You have that confidence in yourself to take that shot? I know you've made game winners before. You're not really new to it, but is that just the confidence that he gives you in practice every day?
Yes, every day to everyone on the team, he instills confidence all the time. No matter if we're having a bad shooting night, we're playing bad, he always believes. He always tells us that he trusts us and believes in us. So not let it go, and it felt good. I made it. I looked at him because he kept me. I didn't start the last game, and he just kept believing in me and trusting in me to stay in the second half, and it worked out for us. So I wanted to prove him right and prove myself right as well.
I want to know, I had multiple people say after they watched that shot, Coach Gates doesn't look that excited. Do you guys see him with emotion? Because when he's on the sidelines, man, it is even keel. We don't see a lot.
Yeah, he's a lot different to us, in practicing behind closed doors. But, he always tells us, just to stay level, stay cool, just don't show emotions out in the public eye. And that's what he does. He's good at that. He's a great leader. So we just follow behind him. He caught himself. He wanted to show emotion, but he caught himself a little bit and he relaxed.
Well, we talked about that video circulating, and one of those places that circulated was SportsCenter. You number 2 on top plays. I told you before we get started, I think you kind of got robbed. I think you probably should have been number 1. But how cool is that to see? That's a dream of, as a kid, you always dream about going up on SportsCenter, seeing a play you make on SportsCenter. How cool is that to actually see, that come to fruition?
It was very cool. It was the best part about it was my family. It really wasn't about me. It was about my family being able to just see me on TV and be able to tell their friends and the people they love that they have someone that they know in the family to be on SportsCenter, and for my teammates. That's not just my light, my shining moment. It's the entire team. Demoy made a good rebound, good push and pass. Nick Arnold had a great game. Trago Million, everyone, Kobe Bryant, everybody had a fantastic game, I believe. So it was for everybody, not just for me.
Dre, you're talking about moving on to the next game. So no better example than like you spent 2 days in Miami and now you are inside wearing a winter coat back in Columbia, Missouri. So I guess that'll snap you back to reality pretty quick.
Yes. That's what we talked about as we was loading the plane. Said back to reality. Back to reality. We looked the weather up. I think it said Thursday's going to be -2 or something like that. So we knew coming back, everything was going back to reality, back to practice, back to everything we normally do. So just getting ready for it.
Well, I'm excited to have you guys. I'm in St. Louis, so I'm excited to have you guys in St. Louis on Thursday. I will be there 8 p.m. on Thursday. Hope all the other Mizzou fans are too. I have a kind of a question about why you chose to come to Mizzou. I knew you obviously knew Coach Gates before you played. I think pretty sure you've hit a game winner against him in the past as well. So what kind of made you want to choose Mizzou and to spend your last year as a Missouri Tiger?
It was all Coach Gates, to be honest. I passed on him the first time around out of JUCO. Didn't really know what he had the plans for, what was his plans for his teams. And he told me, but I hadn't seen it yet. And then watching him and playing against him for the previous 2 years and seeing how his system and the things he does works. And the players I asked all his players at Cleveland State about him. They all loved him. So I said this time I wasn't gonna pass up on the opportunity to play for a coach like him. And it's doing well right now. So can't complain. I love Mizzou. I love Coach Gates. I love the staff, the teammates. So worked out pretty good.
I kind of want to ask you kind of about your teammates too. You guys as a locker room seem very cohesive. You guys seem locked in as a unit. How has that been with Coach Gates coming in? All of you guys are from pretty much different places. We had 2-3 guys who were returning on this team. You guys are all coming together into Columbia. How has that been, and how's the adjustment period been with you guys and just kind of getting to know each other?
Been pretty smooth. We're all older guys, so I think that helped out a lot when we came in the summertime. So we all just kind of like gelled, we hung out. We sorted all the kinks out early, I could say. So it was just about getting game reps in together, just finding the right thing, the right situation with each other, how we like to play and things like that. But off the court, everything's been pretty good. We just been hanging out, playing video games, going out to bowling and movies. And it's been working out for us. Everyone thought after the Kansas game we were going to split up, but it brought us together closer. So we used that as fuel to come together closer. In last game, I think it showed. We were smiling more, we were dapping up more, hugging. Our huddles were tighter and things like that. So it's been good for us.
So kind of a two-part question for you. You mentioned the Kansas game. So in a span of about 2 weeks, you're going to play in the 2 games that like somebody that plays basketball at Missouri kind of points to every year or used to, right? So the first part of this is Coach Gates, and everybody talked a lot about the atmosphere in the Kansas game and what to expect. Were you guys ready for that atmosphere, or did it surprise you what that arena was like coming out?
I don't think it surprised us. We were told, we watched all the old videos. I don't think it surprised us, but what I can say is I guess you can never prepare for something like that. The fans were already – it was packed out before you even started the game, warm-up. So I guess you can't really expect that. But we were ready for it. Kansas is just a great team. They played in a lot – I would say they played ranked opponents already. I think all 9 games at that point. So they were a great team. We were pretty good, but we weren't at that level yet. We're going to continue to get there and build. So hopefully we can see them down the line at some point.
So the cool part about that Kansas game is 99% of the people are cheering for you guys. The cool thing about the Illinois game is literally like you can look up the stands and you can see where they stop selling Missouri tickets and start selling Illinois tickets. So, and I know this is still 3 days away, but have you guys talked at all about kind of what that game is going to be like? Or do you just treat every game like, hey, whatever happens in the stands, we can't pay attention to?
Yeah, we try to focus on ourselves and be together as a family. So we try not to worry about the stands as much. But everyone as a basketball player, how it's going to be. I think we thrive off opponents more. Like Wichita State, the crowd was against us, and it felt crazy. But we thrive off that more because we can come together as a family even more. We can be together, and it's gonna work out for us. I believe.
You're getting some of these good Mizzou rivalries out of the way early, at least what Mizzou fans see are our biggest rivalries, I would say. Are there any places in the SEC like you're really excited to go play in their home stadium?
Me personally, I wish we were going to Kentucky this year. We can't this year. But me personally, maybe Arkansas and Florida. I think we're going to Florida this year. I lost to Florida last year at my previous school, so I want to go win one there. And Auburn. Just watching college basketball, you always see those teams. Everyone always talk about how tough it is to play in their arenas, and so I want to go and see if we can pull one off and win at their arenas.
Yeah. You got the conference schedule coming up, man. I mean, it's right here. You got couple tough non-con games before, but what's kind of the biggest thing that you guys as a team, you kind of yourself has taken from these non-conference games that you've seen between Kansas? You got the one with Illinois obviously coming up on Thursday, but you played some teams, you've hung in there with some games. I know Coach Gates talks about making some adversity for you guys in those games. What's kind of the biggest thing you've taken away from these early games?
The biggest thing is how tough and how close these games are going to be from now on. We really don't expect to beat anyone by a lot of points or lose by a lot of points if that happens, which I hope it doesn't. But every game is going to be tough from now on. It's not going to be a 20-point win. So we try to just stay even keeled and just keep chopping the wood, as we say, keep chopping the wood and keep going. Just try to make sure we win games and make sure we set ourselves up for the future in the NCAA tournament.
I know sometimes, fans tend to lose sight of the fact that you guys have lives and are people off the basketball court too. So you got a basketball game Thursday. You got a basketball game on the 28th. Christmas falls in there. What's the next week like for you? Do you guys get any chance to go see your families or anything?
Yes. After the Illinois game, we have, I think, 2 days, maybe a day and a half to go home and see our families, which is great. So, take any time you can to get away from basketball and try to reset for the tough conference schedule we have coming up. So everyone needs this, coaches, players included, to just to get down mentally, relax, reset a little bit, and come back ready to fight.
This is kind of my last question I have for you, but what would you say that your goal is, as either individually or as a team, for the rest of the season?
As a team, it's for sure to get to the NCAA tournament. We want to get there. Everyone does. That's our whole team goal. We also want to play in the Final Four as well. So I know it sounds big to everyone else, but to us, it's not. It's achievable to us. Individually, I have a pretty high goal. I want to be all conference. I know it sounds big, but I want to be all conference. I want to be all defensive team as well. I want to impact the team defensively. That's really why I came here to Mizzou as well. Me and Coach Gates discussed being a better defender, being a great defender, so I can have a better chance to go pro next year. So that's why I want to be all defensive team and all conference team.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think it's a great goal to have. I can definitely see on both those lists. But last thing I got from me, you talked about you guys playing video games, going out places, going bowling, stuff like that. What's the games you guys are playing? What are you guys doing in that locker room as like team bonding things?
2K. We play a lot of Modern Warfare. That's probably the biggest game we play around here. And I have a couple teammates who play FIFA together. Mo Diar, Rainer DeGray, Mabor Majak. A couple of coaches play as well too. They play FIFA as well. So the World Cup game was big for us around after the win. They on the plane watching the World Cup. So it was big for us.
All right, I want to finish up with a question about one of your teammates too. You guys have like the most famous walk-on in the country, I think. Ben Sternberg is making a name for himself. So I just want to say I'm honored that you're on our podcast and Ben Sternberg has not started his own podcast. Like that's all coming, right? He's going to have some big media company, isn't he?
Now that you say that, I'm going to mention it to him. I'm telling him to make a podcast. But shout out Benny Buckets YouTube. For anybody out there listening, I think you should go check it out. He's going to make a vlog pretty soon about the previous game against UCF. Going to be a must watch, I think. So everybody should watch it. But Ben is a great guy. He's the best teammate anyone can have, and he should. You guys should have him on, and maybe he can learn from you guys. This is a great podcast, so I'm definitely going to mention it to him.
And parting words, I think, hey, if you can do what you did Saturday again, I think all Missouri fans would be happy. I think they'd also be perfectly happy if you didn't have to do that at the end of a game again.
Yeah, we would too.
Well, DeAndre, man, thanks for joining us. Thanks for putting in a good word with the team with us too. You're going to be our pipeline. You're going to be our recruiter for us to get guys on the podcast. So, really appreciate you hopping on, spending a couple minutes with us, man. Just good luck this Thursday against Illinois, and best of luck the rest of the season.
Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Big shout out to DeAndre Gholson for joining us. Huge shot that he hit. Just that whole play, that whole sequence of like. falling to the ground and getting a pass off, then putting up a shot from the logo. It's just, so that's what dreams are made of. That's that stuff right there that, like, when you're a kid in the backyard in the driveway, you're like 3, 2, 1, put it up, bank it in, and been getting up on SportsCenter. Super cool for all of Mizzou, as he mentioned. So shout out to the Missouri basketball team picking up a big win. Like, that was a huge win for them.
Kind of a shot over the bow of good things never happen to us crowd, right? Like, sometimes you win games like that. I actually went through this morning and kind of listed some other buzzer beat. Like, there have been a decent, it's not like Missouri never wins a game like that. Although my favorite tweet was, congrats to Missouri, now 1 for 2,838 in winning games that end in weird ways.
One of the coolest things about that game with Dre too is that I'm pretty sure right before he made that shot, well, maybe right before UCF made their shot, he had an offensive foul, which, at that point, like, you could have beat yourself up and gotten down, and instead, he put himself in the moment and was ready to have the ball in his hands. And I just think that was the icing on top of the cake, and a really cool thing to see.
And I mean, the real play there, no discredit to the guy that hit the 40-footer off the glass, right? Great shot. But, like, there were 2.5 seconds on the clock, and Demoy Hodges laying parallel to the ground without the ball really in his possession. And to be able to shovel that ball over to Gholston, because when Demoy started to lose his footing, I thought, oh my God, they're not even going to get a shot off. Like, this is horrendous. And also, I know he didn't have a timeout, so maybe credit is the wrong word, but, like, Dennis Gates just trusting his guys with 38 seconds left, get a stop, get a rebound, go make a play. Because even he said after the game, a lot of coaches fouled there. And don't get me wrong, if that shot is missed, I promise the internet is going, well, Dennis Gates is an idiot for not fouling. But I like it. Play it out. I mean, worst case scenario, they score and you need a 3 to tie.
Yeah, I would have loved to watch this game, but it was on Bally Sports Extra, and I have I already explained that I have the one place that you can watch Bally Sports in Kansas City. But when I went to click on where it was in Bally Sports Extra, they were actually playing the Miami game. They weren't even playing the right game. So it was the wrong feed. So I didn't even get to watch the game, which shout out to Bally Sports again for ruining my life.
They're not a sponsor, right?
No, never.
Okay.
They will never be.
So I signed up for Bally Sports at, I believe, about 10:30. Game tipped at 11. I signed up at 10:30. And I spent legitimately almost all of the next 2.5 hours going, oh my God, how soon can I cancel this? This is the worst thing that's ever occurred in my entire life.
It's a
I'm one of those,
which is probably a little extreme. It probably wasn't the worst thing.
I'm one of those annoying people that I spend way too much money to watch the Cardinals play baseball on DirecTV. So I know it's terrible. I've got to figure something out, but it is the perk whenever things like this happen. But we're not going to have any more games probably on Bally Sports. So
no.
I mean, if we're lucky.
I thought
although if everybody that subscribes pays $20 a month, they probably can afford to air the entire NCAA tournament on Bally.
True.
It's just not only do they have a bad TV product, they have an awful casino too. Which they rebranded the island of Capri, which I don't know. It used to be called
Tucker, you don't lose money there because it's Bally. You lose money there because it's a casino, and everybody loses money there.
That's probably true, but we can no longer call it Isle of Debris anymore because it's not the Isle of Capri. We have to come up with a new name for the Bally's casino. But looking at the box score here, DeAndre Gholson, 16 points in that game. Obviously, his three biggest
all in the second half.
Huge for him, especially saying that saying that Dennis Gates still has confidence in him. He didn't start, but he still has confidence for him to go out there and get some buckets is big for this team. And I think we saw the feeling out period in the non-conference games. Hopefully we'll see that start to come to a more consistent base of what we see from this team. I assume we will, just with the conference schedule coming up.
I think they've got 9-ish guys where, look, I don't think this team has a number one option. Like, I don't think there is a player you look at and go, that guy's the best player on an NCAA tournament team, right? I think what they have is on any given night, they're going to need 2 or 3 of those 9. And it might not, I mean, the first half on Saturday was almost exclusively Nick Honor with a little bit of help from Kobe Brown. And then the second half was D'Moy Hodge and DeAndre Gholston. And that's just how they're going to have to win games. I mean, they don't have a guy that you can toss out there and go, okay, I know we're getting 18-8 out of him. Because Kobe Brown some nights is going to give you 4 and 6. You know, D'Moy Hodge some days might be, you know, a little more of the Kansas version. But if you have enough guys and you can get a couple of them to step up every game, you still got a shot.
Which is, if you watch the NCAA tournament, a lot of times that's the reason teams are successful in the NCAA tournament, is because they don't have one guy, because they are the Virginias or the Villanovas who are a little bit more well-rounded than maybe you would see a Kentucky or a Kansas.
Yeah, I think what the really good teams have, and look, like I know Dre said, hey, the goal's the Final Four. That's everybody's goal, and I would not say that shouldn't be their goal. Realistically, the goal for Missouri is just make the tournament. I think the teams that go deep, I think do probably have a guy that you look at and say, okay, look, it's in the final minute. We have to have points. We know he's getting the ball. They know he's getting the ball, and we're still going to get points. I don't think Missouri has that, but I think they have enough to – I mean, I was looking this morning. They've got 20 games left. I think they've got to split them to be in the NCAA tournament. I think they got to go 10-10 from here out.
Yeah, admittedly, I'm not very good at like predicting tournament teams because the records are always so like basketball records are just like so many wins, so many losses, right? Because there's so many more games. It's a lot easier to be like, oh yeah, that team's going to be a bowl team. That team's going to win 6 games. Like there's no like benchmark for being a tournament team. At least in my mind. So I do think that these conference schedules is going to be interesting. They have the opportunity to win, as Gabe, as you mentioned, to split these games, because that like middle bottom half of the SEC is a little questionable. If they can sneak a win from one of these top-ish teams, like if they can get a win against Kentucky, catch them sleeping on a night, if they can catch a team sleeping on a short kind of rest week, I think can be good for this team. And I feel like when just watching this team, Missouri feels like a team that can catch a team sleeping, right? It feels like a team that is a sneaky team to a lot of them. You see Missouri, you're like, oh, they're probably not very good, but I think that they're a lot better than what people anticipate them to be, and we've seen. I know people are going to look at the Kansas game and kind of be like, oh, nope, they're still terrible. But I don't think that's fair for this team at all to look at them and still say that, because I do think that they are a good team, and a lot of things happened in that Kansas game. And we talk about, players you got to go to. In that Kansas run, they had really good performances from their guys that they didn't have in the regular season, right? They had the Arizona State transfer. I can't think of his name off the top of my head right now, but he played really well in the tournament. They also had their big man, David McCormick, played really well, and he didn't play very well for the rest of the regular season. So it's a lot of things like that. When you talk about a tournament run, you got to have guys that, that you got to have guys step up and that you didn't have step up in the regular season. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this team develops, how this team grows, because I really like him saying that they didn't have a lot of growing pains, but what the growing pains that they did had, they got out of the way in the summer because they were all transfers. They were all older guys that came in, and we're all able to get all those out. So looking forward to the Missouri-Illinois game on Thursday. We're getting into that, I've mentioned this, I think, on every podcast. We're finally getting into a consistent schedule for basketball. I hated those Sunday 5:30 tips or the Saturday 11 a.m. tips. Hate those. There's football on. Why am I going to watch college basketball? But any final thoughts before we move on to football? I know you guys want to talk about Illinois a little bit more? Or?
Yeah, I mean, I've always said bragging rights. It's been a while since this has been true, because it just hasn't been the same, because Missouri's been not great at basketball. But when these two teams are good, it's my favorite sporting event of the year. Maggie, I'm sure you've been. Tucker, I don't know if you've ever been, but I mean, it is legitimately like when it's full, there are yellow shirts and black shirts, and then there are blue shirts and orange shirts. And every single basket, 50% of the people are cheering and 50% are booing. Every call is both the best call and the worst call of the night. And I like it because, like, the KU game is, like, that's legit hatred, right? Yeah. That's all year round. We hate you. You hate us. And some people feel that way. But I've always thought Missouri-Illinois is more of a, hey, for this one night, like, this is awesome. But, like, I don't think a lot of Missouri fans think of Illinois, or a lot of Illinois fans think of Missouri that much that year round. But for that one night, it's a great, like, non-conference rivalry. And The first one I really, really remember was triple overtime in 93, 94, my senior year of high school. And it's one of the greatest games of all time. But there have been, like, the best team wins this game, it feels like to me, almost never. Like, it always seems like the underdog wins this game. And I would expect Missouri will be the underdog this year.
Well, I think we won it. Well, obviously we lost last year, but then we
had won 3 in a row.
And I'm probably going to get some crap for this, but I have actually never been to a win. Okay. And I've been to a decent amount. Okay, I've probably been to four bragging rights games in the 10-ish years I've lived here. So I'm hoping that changes. I've got to get it on my good side eventually. But it's just so fun. It's like you said, I live here in St. Louis. We're not talking smack to every Illinois sweatshirt I see walking down the street, but around this time you just feel it, and it's a cool feeling. It's exciting. Everybody loves, both teams love the sport of basketball. Illinois is not a football school, despite making a bowl this year or whatever. They're not a football school, they're a basketball school. So I'm excited to get there on Thursday, and hopefully we can pull it out.
I've never been because I'm on the wrong side of the state. And that's just kind of one of the things where I don't really think about Illinois, just because I am so close to Kansas, and I think about that just so much more than I think about the rivalry with Illinois. And it's always this time of year where I'm like, oh yeah, that's one of our rivals is Illinois. And I think that obviously geographics play into it and stuff like that, but aren't they agreed to play in football too? Don't they have a football agreement for down the road? Yeah. So I think that'll be good. I do think
those games are fun.
More. Yeah.
Those football games actually are fun. They were at the Dome.
It's fun. Canceled because they couldn't win.
Yeah. No, that's exactly why. They still wanted to play some football or in basketball, but not in football. Right. But I went a few years ago, my gosh, it's probably been 12 now. When Juice Williams was there, and they were talking Illinois football up a lot back then, and we came out, and we were pretty good back then, so whooped them. But yeah, anytime you play them, even if you don't think about them all year, you want to win that game. I don't know if it's just because we share the majority of our East Coast East border with them, but you want to win that game.
I'm going to start calling it the East Coast of Missouri.
The East Coast of the Mississippi
on the
River.
Banks of the Mississippi River.
Yeah, exactly.
That's good. Also a really sick trophy, another really cool trophy.
It's like, this is a game played with dudes that are between 6 and 7 feet tall, and I feel like the trophy is the tallest thing in the building.
Yeah,
it's huge.
It's
awesome.
Obscene.
It is a good one. I was looking at this story here from the St. Louis Post-Dispatch about someone who wagered. I'm trying to skim through it real quick. I guess there was a wager placed on this game at. I guess the title was misleading. Never mind.
But Tucker got clickbaited.
I got clickbaited.
Excellent segment we had there.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna tell you about a sick bet that was placed on this game. But I can't.
Not so much.
I can't yet because the way the college basketball lines work, it's Monday when we're recording this. They're not going to have a line out until probably Wednesday night. But no, it's going to be exciting. Excited for this rivalry. Is again, like I said, a rivalry that I think about once a year. Like, oh yeah, I don't like those guys.
Yeah. Also, they have the Statue of Liberty contest. Even if you lose the game, you can win that. That's the thing.
Yeah. And we usually, when we lose the game, it kind of seems opposite. You win that at halftime, you lose the game. Yeah. So maybe we don't want to win at halftime, or we don't want to win the Statue of Liberty contest this year.
This is the game where Quinn Snyder got popcorn dumped on him by a Mizzou fan afterwards. A lot of things have happened in the Savis Scott trade, whatever the hell they call it now. Center.
It is Enterprise now. This is also a game that some big money shots have been made at the end of the game to, within 5 seconds or something to lose this game. At least that was it. I think probably 5 years ago when I went, we lost in a devastating fashion, a big shot. So You hate to be on that end
It'll be fun.
of those games, but yeah, it should be fun.
Illinois number 18 in the country. So I anticipate Missouri to win this game. As we've mentioned, it seems like the team that's supposed to win is not going to win. But yes, let's move on to the Gasparilla Bowl. This game will be in Tampa, Florida. Our own Maggie Johnson correspondent will be in attendance. Missouri That 2 correspondent will be in attendance.
Check out my Instagram. Check out my Instagram lives.
Yeah, that would be Lambert Airport on Friday morning, God willing. She will be in attendance.
Oh, Lord,
we'll see.
yeah. 5 a.m. I will be there dying because I'll be at the 8 p.m. bragging rights game. So they couldn't have made it a 6 p.m. bragging rights game. It had to be an 8 p.m. So
yep.
That's a brutal time. I know we had said the time a few times, but it just like clicked with me being first tip at 8 p.m. I'm not gonna get to bed until 11. Like that's
I'm not gonna start right until 11. Yeah.
Do not envy you in that position.
Yeah.
But Missouri does play a bowl game. This is exciting. Drinko's talked to the media, I believe, on was that Sunday that he talked to the media?
Yeah.
Yesterday, yeah.
They are, I believe the team, as we are recording this, is on their way to Tampa to start the bowl preparations, bowl practices. Transfer portal heating up, obviously. Players going, players committing. We're in the heat of just straight up commitment season from high school players. So there's a lot going on right now. And I think Drinkwitz even talked about it in his press conference. He missed the bag drop for the team bag stuff. So who knows if he'll be outfitted in clothes. He might be wearing the same thing you saw him wear on Sunday in his press conference
right.
On the sidelines. So
it seems like they could make an exception to get the head coach's bag in the thing, but who knows? Like you hear stories. Sometimes the equipment truck like forgets somebody's uniform or brings the wrong thing, or so you never know, man.
You never do know. What you do know is there are some opt-outs from both teams. Obviously, we know Dominic Lovett's not going to play. Isaiah McGuire, DJ Coleman, Martez Manuel aren't going to play. But did we get any more people who weren't going to play? Big-time players that weren't going to play, I should say.
Our punter.
Missouri won't have its starting punter, but no. I asked Drinkwitz specifically on Sunday, other than those guys that have already publicly said, is anybody else going to miss it? And he said no. So, so we'll see. I mean, I assume he's telling us the truth, but I guess we'll find out. I got to the Armed Forces Bowl last year, and I was like, oh, hey, that guy wasn't supposed to be hurt. And, hey, that guy was supposed to be playing. And sometimes that doesn't happen. So we'll see.
Yep. For Wake Forest, they're not going to have their running back Christian Turner. He opted to transfer after he's second in their team in rushing yardage. And their number 3 back, Quentin Cooley, is also transferring. But he plans to play on December 23rd. Wow. D-back Galvin Holmes, 23 tackles, is transferring and not playing for Wake Forest as well. Sam Hartman will play. That is their offense.
That's all that matters, right?
I don't think that he doesn't have another year of eligibility, right? Like this is
yes, he does. No, he could. There is a lot of speculation that he will enter the transfer portal and play next year in the SEC somewhere after this game.
For the Missouri team.
He also could play in the draft. Okay, let me rephrase. Somewhere in the SEC, I don't believe to be Missouri.
I'm sorry. I'm just stoking the flames. You see a little spark and it's just me. You just go, blowing on it. That's what I do.
Yeah, we've seen you, Tucker. We know. We've seen you on Twitter.
I just like to get people excited. But anyway, this game on Friday, 6:30 p.m. kickoff in Raymond James Stadium with an actual pirate ship in that stadium. Kind of cool. It's where Mississippi State's playing.
That is very cool.
The good news is that Tom Brady may have exhausted all the available turnovers in that stadium on Sunday evening, so there may not be any left.
I swear, if we lose like I guess it wasn't. That was a different
Buccaneers.
game. I'm still thinking the Patriots game. Which is what was terrible. So don't listen to me. But
I mean, Buccaneers wasn't great. They turned it over 4 times in the third quarter, which has to be it has to be a record, right? There's no way anybody's ever had 5 turnovers in a quarter.
Chiefs tried to do it on Sunday. They got close. They tried to do it though. I'm looking. I've went through and picked all these bowl games, but I think that the line, it's still plus
it was 1 last I saw.
Yeah, -1 in favor of Wake Forest.
Seems pretty
Thoughts on
fair.
this game? Yeah, I think it is. I think that it's a pretty even matchup. I don't know what to take away from this Wake Forest team. I don't want to put too many eggs in the Missouri basket just because they are missing some pretty big defensive players. But I do want to talk about. I just thought about this. They're getting Chris Abrams-Drain and Ennis Rakestraw back, and I think that's absolutely huge for the secondary because you were staring down the barrel of a secondary that looked rough going into next year, and now they get two guys back that were huge pieces for this year, so that gives me a little bit more confidence.
Yeah, big. As far as this game, I mean, I always look at bowl games and it's partly about the talent, but it's also who actually wants to play this game. I mean, like, I'm sure you guys saw the clip of the Florida guy rushing the passer.
Sure did.
He just kind of jogged and tapped the offensive tackle on the shoulder. It's like, I'm tired, man. I can't keep doing this. And like, the Texas Bowl, I remember against Navy, like you just went into that game going, well, this is huge for Navy. This is a 10-win Missouri team that just doesn't care about this game, or an 8-win team, whatever it was. And even last year, I just thought, Army really, like, this is a big deal if Army can beat an SEC team. If Missouri beats Army, it's way to go. So That's why I thought Missouri was going to lose that game. This game, like, theoretically, I think should be important to both of these teams. I mean, Wake is not a traditional power. They've had a couple good years to keep building on that. I mean, Sam Hartman's playing, which tells me it's important to them. For Missouri, you're talking about a winning record for the first time in 4 years, I think. A chance to win a bowl game for the first time since 2014. This should be important to Missouri. It should matter. So I don't really know who I give the edge to in that regard.
It's basically an offensive versus defensive game, I would say. I mean, I'm hoping that this extra month of practice has helped our offense some, but we're going into this game without I don't know if I can say offensive coordinator because I don't think that's what he was. But we've got Drink Collin plays again. We got Drink Collin plays again, coaching quarterbacks again. So it'll be interesting to see how the change goes from those last few games over to this game.
Yeah. Well, fortunately, nobody is going to jump to irrational conclusions based on the offensive performance in this game. We'll be very level-headed about it.
Gabe, I believe it was a question that you asked Drinkwitz. The way he reacted, he said something. I can't remember what the question was exactly, but he said, "I'd love to ask the quarterbacks coach, but he's not here."
But he's not here.
Like, man.
Look, if you watched that press conference and you thought, oh, well, that's a guy that expected Bush Hamdan to leave and has this plan and he's real happy for his guy going back home. No, that wasn't that, man. That was not that.
It was not.
There was some salt.
I don't know. I don't understand. Josh Heupel did this to us too. Left right before we played Texas in that Texas Bowl. I don't understand leaving before the bowl happens because it's not like
a lot of times they don't have a choice. Okay. I mean,
it's true.
Like, I can tell you, Josh Heupel would not have been welcome to coach that bowl game. That was not. It was okay. You're taking a job. Cool. Get out, man.
Well, what I mean is, like, why not announce that you're going to do it after the bowl game? Like, why, if they already know the pieces are in place? In
Heupel's case, he's a head coach. He's got to go recruit.
Yeah, I guess.
In Hamdan's case, would waiting a week have changed anything? I don't know, but my guess is from Boise's point of view, hey, they've got a really good redshirt freshman quarterback. They might want to make sure that kid doesn't want to go into the transfer portal, and having an OC and a quarterback's coach may be a part of it. Like, I mean, loyalty exists only to fans in college.
Yeah.
To be honest, I mean, these guys, the coaches are there for the paycheck. The players are there for the paycheck. I mean, so like if he's taking this other job, yeah, it would be nice. But like, you've got signing day coming up. You've got transfers coming in. You've got all this stuff happening. The other program is usually going to be like, hey man, we'd sure like you to start if you can. And I get it.
So my question is, because we talked about this a lot, about Drinkwitz adding an offensive coordinator, right? An actual, with the title, offensive coordinator, but their staff was full. They had, I think, 10 assistants already on their staff. does this now bring up the opportunity for them to add a quote unquote an offensive coordinator?
Oh, it brings up the opportunity. The money's there. We think it's going to happen. I kind of asked Drinkwitz about that yesterday, and I knew he wouldn't answer. He's like, "Hey, win this bowl game." But whatever. I had to ask. I think they'll hire one. I don't have a clue who it would be or anything like that, but it makes sense to me to hire a quarterback's coach and an offensive coordinator now.
I would agree. You also asked him about who the quarterback would be, right? Is that your question?
Yeah, I didn't ask him exactly that way, but he had talked about playing young guys. Yes. I said, so will you do that at quarterback? And he basically said it's Brady's game until it's not, which indicates to me until the score's out of hand, like he's getting the meaningful snaps, which I think that's the right move. I mean, it's Brady got this team here for better or worse, whether you think, they're here because of him or they're here because of him. And that's not a good thing, whatever, but this is his season. He's coming back next year. It's not a situation like last year where they knew Bazelak was leaving. So this should be his game. And I don't think playing Sam Horn in this game would change the season opener next year, so I think it should be his game while it's in doubt.
I agree. And I thought the way that you asked that question was very, very clever.
I'm clever now and again.
Yeah, I liked it. I was like,
every dog has its day.
Like, Gabe, there you go. You got it. You got him. No, but I thought that was interesting and good that I think he committed to Brady. And at least I think what you could take,
which by the way doesn't mean he has to stick to it.
That's true.
I mean, like 100%. That was Sunday.
Yeah. Things can change between now and Friday morning when they go to take the field. But I think the one thing I can take from this whole Sam Horn and Brady Cook saga, if you will, is that Eli stuck to his guy. Like he's stuck to him for the most part, and it said like, hey, Brady, this is Brady's job. I don't think I would love to think that Eli Drinkwitz is not purposely playing bad players. I think Eli Drinkwitz is playing the players that he thinks can best give them wins. I know sometimes people on Twitter think that their coaches are purposely playing bad players. I don't think that's the case. I think that Brady Cook probably has shown a little bit more than Sam Horn has in practice, and I love Sam Horn. I want to see what he can do in this offense. But I do respect what Drinkwitz has done, just sticking with Brady. And I think that's a big thing for not only his confidence, but for Sam's confidence too. If Sam gets in there and then he gets yanked, right? It's like you're destroying the confidence of two different guys who's trying to play quarterbacks. And the old adage goes, if you have two quarterbacks, you don't have any. Maybe they should do the Texans 2 quarterback set with Jeff Driscoll and Davis Mills. Run Sam Horn out there at X wide receiver. Have him run jet sweep motions all across the field. But who knows? I do think Drink does deserve some credit for that. And that while it wasn't easy at all, right? He has a pretty good pretty good freshman and waiting in the wings. He's kind of stuck to his guy.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Nice.
Nothing more to add.
No, you killed it. Crushed it.
You guys speechless. Wow. Felt good about that one. That one was a good one. No, I think this will be a very interesting game coming up on Friday. I'll be glued to the TV watching it. Hoping that, man. You said bowl game of 2014. That was a Citrus Bowl, right? Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah, Citrus
Matty
Bowl.
Mock
Against Minnesota?
Minnesota Gold, not Gopher. They were Golden Gophers.
Yes.
Golden.
Are they still Golden Gophers?
I think they're still golden.
Oh.
Defensive MVP Marcus Golden. That's how long it's been.
Oh Lord. Wow. 2014. What a year that was. That was SEC East champions 2014 Missouri Tigers, correct?
It was. Yes.
Wow. I can't believe it's been
classic season. Classic season.
I'm just taken aback by how long it's been since, because Missouri's been to a few bowl games.
I mean, look, the Royals have won a World Series more recently than Missouri has won a bowl game.
Gabe, you're messing with my head.
Something. That's something.
That is something indeed. Yeah. So hopefully we get to see a good performance from this Missouri offense, Missouri defense as well. I'm a little worried that they won't have, DJ Coleman Isaiah McGuire. Those two guys were pretty big on that offensive line. They had, can't remember, Gabe. You're gonna have to tell me who is playing the defensive lineman. I believe he wears number 0.
That's Jaden Jernigan. They have all the guys inside. Christian Williams, Darius Robinson, Jaden Jernigan, they're all playing. We assume Trajan Jeffcoat is playing. We haven't been told that he is not. Johnny Walker and Arden Walker are going to be at defensive end. They were redshirt freshmen this year. I looked it up. If Jeffcoat does not come back, Missouri is losing 1,400 and some odd snaps at defensive end. They have 171 returning. Johnny and Arden Walker, like, they are the defensive ends at this point that are on scholarship. So it's pretty important if Jeffcoat plays. Pass rush could be a problem. I think this is the Arkansas game. I mean, they're going to have to score 28, 31, 34 in that range to win this game. They've only done that once against a Power 5 team, but fortunately for them, it was the last time. So, they have some proof they can do it.
I was just thinking about this defense. Tyron Hopper, is he playing?
We assume so.
Anticipated to play, I should say.
Basically, at this point, it's McGuire, Manuel, and DJ Coleman, and Jelani Williams, who played some. Yeah, but that's it that we know of.
Which is better than what I would have said a month ago. I would have been like, oh, man, we're going to lose everybody. Yes. And actually, we're in the bottom half of the SEC in terms of players that have either opted out, went to the church. So far, we don't know what's going to happen after the bowl game.
Different.
I think I read on Power Mizzou, Gabe, you said if this game was after Christmas, you don't really know.
Yeah, I mean, I think there are still some guys like Carlisle and Hopper still, I think, will have NFL decisions. Jeffcoat could still leave. Robinson, I don't know. We kind of talked like this was probably the last game, but we don't know that for sure. There will still be some guys enter the portal. So, like, things are going to change again after the bowl game and then again after spring football. But he's gotten guys to commit to coming back that I didn't think would commit this early to coming back. And he is going to field a more complete team than I thought he was going to be able to. And so I think he does deserve credit for that.
Again, the Chris Evans and Rakestraw commitments to come back another year are massive. I think that's I don't think it can be understated how big just for not only this game, but like for next year as well, because that cornerback room was looking a little thin. That secondary as a whole was looking a little thin without those guys. So stoked for that. Glad that'll be back. Blake Baker will be back. Contractually, Blake Baker will be back. I should say. You never know what's going to happen, but contractually, he will be back. I always hesitate to say these things around college football because it changes so fast. College football changes so fast. Like we went from saying that, oh yeah, we can't play these guys because it'll burn a red shirt to like 25 minutes later, the NCAA coming out with a rule saying, oh yeah, you can play those guys now. You can play those guys.
Well, and it kind of made me think this week. Like we talked to Barrett Bannister over the weekend. And you thought, look at this kid who had no offers out of high school. Just said, all I want's a shot. Came to a place. He's been here like since Tucker was 7, I think. I mean, he's basically like got a building named after him on campus. He's been here so long. And you wonder what guys like that think when they look around and they're like, I don't even know who's going to be on my team next week. It's just such a. And I'm not saying anything bad about kids that are transferring or whatever. They have the right to do it. It's just so weird. It's so different.
Yeah, there's definitely different mindsets of different people. And it's kind of like what we talked about. Some people are playing because their life is depending on the draft. Like that's what they want to do. Right. Bear Bannister's not like that. Bear Bannister is going to be a dentist or, whatever it is. Like he knows this is his last time to play. And he's like, why would I not want to play? So right. I always have admired Barrett Bannister.
Well, and to be fair, like we talk about all the negatives of the stuff, but like, is anybody upset Dre Gholston is at Missouri now after Saturday? I don't think so. But I think what you do lose a little bit is the connection of a fan base who you watch a kid like Lawrence Bowers come in and score 1.2 points a game as a freshman and then turn into this guy that like is kissing center court on his last, like you don't see that very much anymore. And I think that's the part, the emotional part that fans like, we want to think it's Like we love that, right? It's such a great story, but we just don't really see it anymore.
No, we don't. I was looking at Barrett Bannister's profile on his roster. We graduated high school the same year, so we are the same age. Just need to find out his birth date and his mother's maiden name, and then we'll be set.
Well, hey, by the way, like Barrett Bannister, Realist George, a bunch of Missouri players graduated this weekend. Here's my fun fact of the weekend: Brady Cook and Justin Gage in the same graduating class at the University of Missouri. Justin Gage put out on Twitter that he came back and finished his degree up this year. So yeah, awesome. Brady Cook and Justin Gage graduate Mizzou together.
That's awesome. Yeah, so excited for this game to come. Lots of Mizzou athletics going on. I believe the Missouri women did drop their bragging rights game, I believe, to Illinois. And was that in Mizzou? I believe in Columbia. Okay, that's what I thought. 10, yeah. Dang. Yeah. Sophie Cunningham has been around that program a lot recently, and I love that. I love that for the program. I'm a Phoenix Mercury fan because of Sophie Cunningham.
There you go.
You and the rest of Mizzou Nation, right. I think.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, I love it. I love it. But we'll be back next week to talk about this.
Hey, do we have to pick the game? Are we going to do that? Is that a thing?
Sure, we can pick it if you would like. We can.
Okay, I don't know why I said that because I have no idea what I'm going to pick.
Wait, which game are we picking? Basketball or are we picking football?
I don't know. Pick them both.
Yeah.
What's we don't know the spread in basketball yet?
No, I'm sure it'll be Illinois by 5-ish, something like that.
Okay, I'm gonna take Illinois in the basketball game. I'm gonna take Mizzou in the football game. I'm gonna take us to cover at +1.
Which means they're gonna win.
I'm picking us to win.
I mean, I'm not trying to send people into Christmas mad at our show.
That's a good point.
They're going to be mad at us either way.
The upset always happens in bragging rights. I think, I don't know. I think Brad Underwood is making more fart noises into the microphone after this game, like he did. Did you guys see that? It was amazing. After the Penn State game, they asked him about somebody's leadership, and he just right in it was awesome. So maybe he'll do that again. Missouri wins the basketball game, and I got no idea in the football game. So when I have no idea, I say, well, why would it would be bad business of me to pick Missouri to lose. So I'll pick Missouri to win that too.
Look at Gabe picking Mizzou to win both games, guys. Don't say he never did anything.
Now they're gonna yell at
Homer.
me. Mizzou's 0-2. Now they're gonna tell me I'm an idiot and I got their hopes up. I wrecked Christmas by picking Mizzou.
Oh wait, Maggie, did you pick Illinois in the basketball game?
Yeah, I picked Illinois in the basketball game, Mizzou in the bowl.
See, this is tough because I didn't want a clean sweep. I didn't want to do a clean sweep of everything, right? Like if we picked Mizzou for all of it and all three of us picked Mizzou in both, that'd be bad. That would also not be good. The jinx community would come out and tell us that we jinxed it. Which jinxes aren't real, by the way. Go ahead and grow up. What I say on this podcast does not determine what is going to happen on that field. But I'm going to
go ahead and grow up. Tucker's already planning his next quarterback transfer troll tweet.
Yep, Devin Leary coming in soon. I was gonna close with that, Gabe. You spoiled it.
My bad.
It's okay. All good. I'm gonna pick Mizzou in both. Mizzou gonna win by 10 in the basketball game though. And I think big showing from Des Moines Hodge. I think Des Moines Hodge is going to have a good game, and so is Kobe Brown. That's my prediction. Go ahead and clip that. So when it happens, we have that. And in the football game, I do think Mizzou will win, but I think it's going to be by a walk-off field goal by Harrison.
Okay.
That's my prediction. Yeah.
Heard it here first.
Busy week. Lots of stuff happening. And we will hit Christmas time. We'll probably be back a day, I think, in terms of when the podcast will come out next week. So we'll probably be out on Tuesday, maybe Wednesday, just with the Christmas holiday being observed on the Monday and the Christmas falling on a Sunday. I hate it when Christmas falls on a weekend. Just like, give me a day off in the middle of the week, you know? Give me a day off that I'm not supposed to have off. That's an awful way to think about it, but that's how I think about it.
Please move your birthday, Jesus.
Yes.
We could use this as a last minute Christmas. You can go to Charlie Hustle. By the way, I bought my brother the shirt, the Fox or the KC Sports Network shirt for Christmas. Gave it to him last weekend. He loved it. So
big hit.
go buy your siblings or loved ones some KC Sports Network gear or any Charlie Hustle gear.
Yes.
You like how I did that? You like how I
love that.
That
was good.
Very professional. Better at my job than I am because I was not mentioning it at all. They restocked the Shakespeare's Pizza shirt because
I got it. I bought it when I bought my brother the other one, so I also have the Shakespeare's one.
Because it sold out pretty much immediately when they dropped it. It's a sweet shirt, but then they restocked it. I think they had a sale going on. I was looking at their sale stuff. I don't know if they still have a sale going on or not. They probably do because of being close to the holidays, but they restocked it. It's out there, black and gold Shakespeare Pizza logo. Very cool shirt. Make sure you go check that out. Check our friends at charliehustle.com. That'll do it for us today. As next week we will be back to recap the bowl game, talk about some Mizzou basketball games coming up with the conference schedule just around the corner. After the Illinois game, they got Kentucky on that Wednesday, following on the 28th. So lots of basketball. We'll have football conversations. Signing day, I believe, is somewhere in the midst of that as well. So we might have some big commitments to talk about from the high school ranks of things, but we will have everything you need covered here at KC Sports Network on the Mizzou That's Who podcast. Next week, we'll also talk about Devin Leary signing with the Missouri Tigers. So until then, we will talk to you guys next week.